Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I kind of wanted to talk about my experience with the Icon Stage 3 lift kit. So we brought it out to UARI. It performed extremely well. I do have the 275 70R18 Nitto Trail grapplers on there. So my experience running fully aired up, a little stiff. I do have that front end up a bit and I'm going to show you. So a little hard to see, but you can tell that I do sit significantly higher than what I used to. I don't have anything in the rear, and this is about where I'm sitting in the rear. And if you can see, this is about where I'm sitting in the front. I do think I'm going to go with a 1.5 inch spacer in the back to replace that Chevy 0.5, and I do add a leaf in the rear. But I believe it's sagging a little bit. They typically do that after a little while. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that 0.5 block with a 1.5, and then this should be level. Now, looking at these Icons, you have a lot of crank. So you can bring this to 2.5 inches. We don't even have it nearly close to that because one, this was sitting really high and it was completely raked out. So we are not going to do that right now. I really like the way this looks right here. And I just need to fix that rear end so we can kind of get the truck leveled out and everything like that. Make it, you know, get it so there's not a whole lot of rake and I can still add some weight without it actually, you know, raking and leaning on me. All right, so sorry if you can hear the cars in the background, but let's talk about the 23 Chevy Colorado. Reliability, I've got 22,000 miles on it so far, and I'll tell you, I've had one major issue, not really the truck's fault, more of a Chevy quality control fault, and that was the leaking of the upper radiator hose. Long story short, if you haven't watched the video before, I'll post the video somewhere around here. I went in, told them it was leaking. It was. They did the pressure test. Yeah, replaced it. But instead of clamping everything down like they're supposed to, they missed a clamp. Driving home around for about 30-40 miles, radiator the whole hose blows off, blows crap everywhere, and I'm like, ah man, I hope this didn't damage my engine. So long story short, it was the tech's fault. It wasn't really Chevy's. It wasn't really Chevy's fault. However, they did have a faulty hose, so I guess it is Chevy's fault. But you know, a lot of people, I know you hear on the forums and you can see it on the Facebook groups and all that stuff, like, I got so many problems with my Colorado. And to be honest with you, 22,000 miles later, I haven't had that many issues. That's really the one major issue that I would consider major, because I was leaking a little bit of that, you know, radiator fluid here and there. But other than that, I think the reliability for my model, mine was built in April of 2023. Let this bike pass, and I think the reliability of it really isn't too bad. You know, I've added a lot of mods to it. You know, I've put weight on the rear. I've got the extrusion overland bed rack. I've got the 4x4 Colorado tent. I got the NFAB rock sliders. I've got the Nitto Trail grapplers that just completely decimated my fuel mileage. And I will be showing you guys, I've got some exciting news. I am switching out these tires with some new 315s and KMC rims. My friend was getting rid of them and I was like, hey, I'll take those off your hands since you're getting rid of them, because one, my tires have about 22,000 miles on them, and I just wanted to see, you know, maybe having a non-mud terrain. These are BFG all-terrain KO2s. Maybe having a non-BFG, or I'm sorry, maybe having a non-mud terrain would give me a few extra miles per gallon. Right now I'm at miles per gallon. It does pretty horrible. It's really bad. I get about 14, maybe 13, 14, give or take. So it's not very good. But yeah. So I'm hoping that changing these tires out, you know, may up that fuel mileage a little bit. And I'm going to show you these tires. All right, y'all. So these are the ones I'm going to be putting on. Those are that pattern. That's what it looks like. They're much bigger. So these are 285s. The Chevy right now is rocking the 275. So you can see on the Jeep, we've got the 285s. We got 275s here. And this is what we're going. We're going up to 315s on this one with those KMC rims. I think it's gonna look really, really good. And I've got all 5 tires. Not sure how I'm gonna mount that spare yet. I'm gonna still try to figure that one out. All right, so yes, we're getting new tires. Let's jump back into the Icon Stage 3. So Icon Stage 3 air down on the trail at Uari. I briefly touched on it in my last video, but I did awesome. I kept all 4 tires on the ground. Where the Jeep was scraping, the truck was not. Obviously, it's, you know, taking the correct lines, having the proper air pressure, but also knowing how to drive over obstacles and maybe having a spotter there, which we were in the head of the pack most of the time. So I didn't have a spotter a lot of the time, but it had no issues. It did really, really well. And the articulation was just as expected. It was really, really good. Now, I would say when it's aired up, obviously it does feel a bit stiff, but I also think that's because I'm running a higher air pressure in my tires. Nitto, specifically for the weight of my vehicle and their tire, recommended 40 PSI. Typically they recommended 45, I run 40. Hopefully in these BFG KO2s I can maybe run 35, whatever. We could do a chalk test just to actually be sure, depending on the weight of the vehicle and, you know, how much crap I have actually in the back of the truck when I'm running out there. But otherwise, you know, I caught Icon at like 26 or 27% off. They normally have like these sales, and I caught it on a good, I caught a sale. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, pull the trigger on that right now. The truck still performed excellent. So even without the lift, it performed good, but it was tippy. Now, performance after the lift, it absolutely made contact. It made everything way easier because I wasn't tipping, or, you know, all the tires had contact, and when the locker kicked in, it did everything the way it should be. You can kind of see in some of those pictures in the videos that I had posted that it was leaning, but no matter how much I was tilting, those tires were still on the ground. So the remote reservoir in the rear, and then of course I got the remote reservoir in the front with the upper control arms. Don't forget, I also have the tie rod reinforcement, and I have a diff drop to compensate for that extra height you get in the front. So just to circle back, I am adding the 1.5-inch lift block on the rear, and I'm changing these tires out to the 315s that you see right over here. I'm going to be switching those out right away. And you're gonna see it right in this video. I'll stop this and we're gonna show you what those look like. It's gonna be a huge difference for me with those 315s, and I think the ride quality is gonna be better. Right now you've got the Nitto Trail Grappler mud terrain on there, which gives you a rough ride and a loud ride, right? It's not bad, but it's just rougher, louder, and I think that contributes to eating the gas mileage. I think these, even though they're bigger, I think I'm gonna get the same amount of gas mileage, just because I don't have the mud terrain tires driving on pavement, because as you know, the truck is a daily driver, and so it's a weekend warrior for us. It does a great job, but I only really get about 14 in the city and maybe 16 on the highway if we're lucky. So I'm gonna give you one more shot of what the truck looks like right now, and then I'm gonna give you a shot of what it looks like afterwards and how the drive and feel is on it. Bear in mind, I do have to cut the fenders a little bit for going off-road, not for driving on-road, but for going off-road. So that'll be a separate video when I can get myself and Kevin, he's got the tools that I can really use to do a proper cut, and he's got the experience behind that, just so I'm not sitting over here cutting the heck out of my my front and rear. It's gonna be a little off the rear and a lot of off the front. Until I get a high clearance bumper, and then I'm gonna have to do the downtime loss cut, where you're just like, yeah, let's just basically cut it all off in the front there. Looking forward to getting a bumper, but not quite ready to pull the trigger on it yet. So let's check out what the truck looks like now with the tires, and so you can kind of have in the same video a before and after shot. All right guys, you can kind of see what it looks like now. This will be the before shot. It's just so you all can check it out. That's what it looks like right now. And you'll see shortly what it looks like afterwards. All right, y'all. There's the mod. We got those BFG KO2s on with the KMC Treks. Those are 315 70R 17s. I'm gonna have to do a little trimming, not much. It pretty much clears it entirely, but man, that's nice looking, y'all. I mean, that's a solid look, man. I really like the black on black. I mean, that is such a great look. This is a really good spot too to take some photos. You tell me what y'all think. Clearance in the back isn't too bad. Might have to trim a little bit, but I mean, overall, I'd say overall it's I think this makes the stance look way more aggressive. I really love the Nittos, but they were just a little small. So, you know, getting some bigger tires like this, you know, they're just what, under 35, they're 315s. I don't know. I think this pretty much completes the look I was going for, besides maybe a bumper and a few other odds and ends here. I think this is just this is like exactly the truck that you want your truck to look like. It's aggressive, the aesthetic is real, it's super clean. I mean, Chevy obviously did an amazing job with the aesthetic of this truck. I mean, it looks so good, guys. Just seeing it, you know, from afar, you're just like dang, that's a nice looking truck. Y'all tell me what you think. How do those tires look? Like I said, we're gonna have to trim a little bit. Let me see if I can show you here. I forget if it rubs a little here at max, or I forget. I know I heard a little tiny rub. I'm gonna have to just see exactly where it was rubbing. I might just crank the wheel and kind of see what I was hearing. Yeah, we'll see. But other than that, guys, that kind of wraps up my video. Couple future mods that I'm looking to get is obviously going to be a front bumper with a winch. I'm not super concerned about the rear bumper. However, I would really like to be able to carry the spare tire. The only way I could do it is maybe with a hitch mount under here. I'm going to try to mount it up underneath, but I'm just not sure if that's going to work in my favor. Guys, otherwise, so that's my reliability and last mod for a while. I did get selected for Senior Chief, which is awesome. That's a huge milestone in my Navy career, and that means that I potentially have to move again. So everything is up in the air. Even though we're still building the truck for off-road and everything, I don't know where I'm gonna move. I don't really have an opening until June, until I can actually see those orders. So it's up in the air, but we've had a ton of blessings this year, and I thank you all for, you know, watching the videos and watching our content. And, you know, this is a hobby for us, and we just love doing it. Love modding, having fun, getting out, making memories, because that's what it's all about. So thank you everyone for watching. God bless. Tell me how you like the truck with these new 315 KO2s with the KMC rims, and I'll see you next time.